once again to the Sci-Fi Horror and Fantasy Show podcast. And now here's your host, Ron Donahue.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the Sci-Fi Horror and Fantasy Show podcast. I am your host, Ron Donahue, and tonight I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Jeff McIntosh.
Good evening, everybody. I've missed you. It's been about 5 weeks since our last show, and I am glad to be out here again with you on this Sunday evening.
Yeah, it has been. So just to give everybody a little bit of a heads up, it was not totally our fault. I think I had mentioned this one time before that the website that we use to record our podcast, Riverside, it's not the first time that they've ever changed whatever software. I guess they do updates or what have you, and it really causes havoc. I know one time before when they did an update, the different co-hosts were continually getting kicked off the show and would have to keep signing back in during the show. I don't know. I mean, you have to take the good with the bad. I like the platform itself, but it's a lot that goes along with it. Other than that, sometimes it was some health issues, it was some vacation issues, a whole bunch of different things. But I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back with my co-host once again, so we can start digging back into this science fiction, horror, and fantasy show news and updates. And let's get going. So, being today is let me add this in. Happy Father's Day to any of our listeners out there. If you're a father, stepfather, grandfather, happy Father's Day today. Hope you had a great day today, and wish you many more. Okay, so back again. Today is officially the first day of summer. Jeff, you have a list of movies. Because I know I have my Halloween list of movies I watch every year. Do you have a summer list of movies that you watch every year?
I don't know that they necessarily fit into summer, but I like to hit Nightmare Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus, a couple of times a month leading up to Halloween. I like to watch Trick or Treat. In fact, I went to put it on the other day, and my wife goes, "You know how many times I've seen this? I don't want to see this again." So I did not get my Trick or Treat fix in. There's an old Peter Cushing movie. I want to say Island of the Burning Doom, but that's not the I think it's Island of Terror, where they go out on an island and they had a guy doing cancer research, and he creates these creatures that suck the calcium out of your bones and kill you. And I like to watch that because I think that one's kind of creepy. And when I first saw this, it had to be late 60s, early 70s. It scared the crap out of me.
It's a color or black and white?
Color.
Isn't it some type of? Aren't they some kind of moving plants? And when they touch you or what have you, is that the one I'm thinking of?
No, you're thinking of Day of the Triffids.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
from I want to say like 66 something. Within a couple years of that date. My wife is a big fan of that movie, and we'll watch that. And then there was, I think it was remade as a serial by the BBC a few years ago. And that one's not too bad either.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I like it. Well, I have a top 10 summer sci-fi, horror, and fantasy movie list. So this is just a random top 10 list that has a little bit of all different movies from all these different genres. So now the first one on the list, number one, actually I watch it every summer I watch the first three of the Jaws series. And today was actually the earliest I've ever kicked off my summer movies. I did watch Jaws earlier today. So for number one on the list, we have Jaws. That's from 1975. It says the vibe is the ultimate summer horror. And it gives like a little bit of a note. It says why it's essential. Steven Spielberg's masterpiece practically invented the summer blockbuster. It transformed a beach vacation into a primal nightmare and remains a masterclass in tension, scoring perfectly on every suspense list. So yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I love Jaws. I love Jaws 2. I know not like a lot of people didn't like Jaws 2 very much, or and even probably Jaws 3 even less. But I love all three of them. So I got one down. I got two more to go before the end of the summer. The next movie we have, number 2 on the list, is Midsommar. That came out in 2019. Did you see that one?
I did see that one, as a matter of fact, because I'm a big fan of folk horror.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my coworkers I was talking to, you know what? One of our other co-hosts, Gigi, she said she liked it. I didn't like it personally. That was my first time ever though watching is it Florence Pugh? Is that her first name? I know last name is Pugh. That's
I think so.
the White Widow from the Avengers movie, the
Yeah.
Black Widow's little sister. Yeah, that was my first time ever. I mean, she's a good actress. I didn't personally dig the movie though, but the vibe of the movie is horror folk, like you said, folk horror in the bright summer sun, and said why is essential. Director Ari Aster subverts traditional dark horror settings by placing his terrifying cult rituals in the perpetual daylight of a Swedish summer. I mean, I didn't like it per se, but it did have a good creep factor to it anyway. I mean, I give you that, give it that much anyway. So number 3 on the list, we have Jurassic Park from 1993. The vibe, sci-fi, adventure, and fantasy, and why it's essential. There is no bigger summer movie. It brilliantly merges science fiction, genetics, with blockbuster fantasy dinosaurs walking the earth on a remote tropical resort island. Have you seen I saw an early preview of the next Jurassic Park movie that's going to have Scarlett Johansson in it. You saw it?
I've seen the trailer for it, yes.
What'd you think?
Well, how many Jurassic Park movies are there now? Like, 4 or 5? I mean,
Exactly.
the first one was groundbreaking. They had all the CGI dinosaurs and all that, and that was really
Right.
great. But then,
Mhm.
you're getting 4 and 5 movies into it, and it's like, oh, there's Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Gee, didn't we see him back in JP1?
Yeah.
So I mean, the formula for me is getting a little tiring, but
Mm-hmm.
my wife's a big fan, and she will go through and she'll be on Tubi or one of our streaming services, and hey, let's watch. If you've got to. I mean, we could be watching Trick or Treat, but Jurassic Park.
Yeah, my wife, she likes them too. But I will say this: I've gotten extremely bored with the Jurassic Park movie. I think I dropped off. Let me see which one. I think I did watch that one with Chris Pratt when they made it like an amusement park. But you know what? The thing about Jurassic Park is it's kind of got that Friday the 13th mentality. Like how many didn't they even make like 8 or 9 Friday the 13th? And it's like
something like that. There's
right.
like a
How many
ton of them.
times? Okay, everybody, let's go to Crystal Lake. Everybody dies. 5-10 years later, hey, let's go back to Crystal Lake. Everybody dies. 5-10 years. I mean, how many times there has to be a mass murder, of everybody before people figure out, you know what, maybe we shouldn't go to Crystal Lake. It's kind of like the same thing to me. You know what I mean? Let's play with dinosaurs. Oh, but it never works out. Everybody, like a lot of people die. It's pandemonium, mayhem. I don't know, man. But what I will say, when I did see the preview of the new one with Scarlett Johansson, it seemed kind of cool. I mean, there was some kind of, I don't know if it was like a megalodon or whatever it was out in the ocean. They were out in a boat and Now I guess they got to worry about a Jaws dinosaur or something. I mean, I might check it only because I like Scarlett Johansson. I might check it out, but yeah, other than that, I'm pretty much done with the Jurassic Park movies. I'll be honest with you. Okay, so number 4 on the list. This is a great movie. And it's funny that they put it in the summertime, but number 4 on the list is 1982's The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. It says the vibe is cold, isolating sci-fi horror and why it's essential. A stark contrast to the summer heat, John Carpenter's claustrophobic masterpiece features shape-shifting alien terror in the Antarctic. It's a gold standard for practical effects. Now, for those of you who might like that movie who do not know, I would say between the two, my favorite is the original black and white film, which wasn't nearly as gory, but the name of it is The Thing from Another World. That's where John Carpenter got this idea from. He changed it around a bit. It's a little bit different. It's, of course, like I say, this came out, I think, in the 1950s, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not gory. It's in black and white, but it's a good movie. It's a great movie. I honestly, between the two, I kind of like it better than the remake. I do like the remake, but to me, it's my favorite. So if check that out. Check that. I always tell people that like the thing to check out the original, the movie. Next up, we have number 5 is 1979's Alien. The vibe is sci-fi horror and why it's essential. Ridley Scott's groundbreaking film provides that in space, no one can hear you scream. The ultimate haunted house in space. Movie pits an unsuspecting crew against a relentless xenomorph. Now, this one, I saw it and I did not like it at all. Number 6 on the list is 2022's Nope. This is the vibe sci-fi horror western. I don't think it's really a western per se. Did you see that, Jeff? Nope.
I got about halfway through it. I got to the point in the movie where they're supplying horses for some kind of western or some kind of movie that somebody is shooting.
Yeah.
And they look outside and there's like a saucer.
Yeah.
And for me it was just kind of I still have not gotten my way through it, and every so often I'll want to put it on and my wife goes, don't you remember how much this movie sucked? So, so
yeah, I'm in total agreement with your wife. That I watched the entire film, but I did not enjoy it I didn't enjoy it at all. I really did not like that movie at all.
The first movie that Jordan Peele directed, the one that was kind of like almost like the Stepford Wives. I kind of like that.
Was that Get Out?
I've seen interviews where he has gone ahead and said, essentially, I can't imagine making a horror movie with black actors. Or I'm sorry, strike that. I can't imagine making a horror movie with white actors. So, and I probably can't hit this enough when I say, being a white guy, there's probably a ton of stuff about the black experience that I will probably never ever understand.
Right.
And I mean that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time I can get so far in the movie and then I just want to say, isn't there anything else on?
I'm not mad at you. And personally, I think as a comedian, I think Jordan Peele is very funny, but I have not yet seen any one of his movies that I enjoyed. For me, I'll be honest with you. If I see a horror movie, I just want a good story, right? I don't particularly, I'm not looking for some type of underlining, message on society or what, if I watch a documentary, I can get that. And what I mean? I'm not really looking for that in like a horror movie. So I've seen, like I said, what was that? Get Out. I didn't really dig that one. I really didn't like Nope. And what was the name of the other one with what's the name? Lupita Luanga, the one with the scissors. You remember it was like
The
you have
the
like
the the doppelganger one, right?
yeah, yeah. I didn't really dig that one either. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, his horror movies, I don't really dig him. Like I say, his comedy is hilarious. I think he's really funny, but I just can't really get into the horror movie. So for me, Nope was a nope.
I
For me,
like his partner, the bald fellow whose name I had.
Key. So
Yeah,
it's Key and
I
Peele.
I
Yeah.
like him. I think he is hilarious. I like watching him because he'll be doing a lot of commercials, which is where I've seen a lot of his stuff.
Hmm.
I think he's funny.
Yeah, he is, and together they're really funny too. But again, I'm just when he does horror movies, I'm just really they're not my cup of tea. All right, so let's move on. 7 on the list we have The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. That's from 2001. The vibe is epic high fantasy, and why it's essential. The quintessential summer rewatch. Peter Jackson's sweeping adaptation sets a peerless standard for building magic and adventure. And I can say I have not watched any of those trilogy Lord of the Ring movies. The only Lord of the Ring movie that I've ever seen, which honestly I still to this day love it, was that 1970s animated. It was part like live action, part animated Lord of the Rings movie. I mean, it was really over the top, but that's like my favorite one. I mean, I guess it is the favorite because it's the only one I've ever seen. But yeah, that's my go-to. I haven't seen any of the other ones. Haven't really been interested. Okay, so the next one, number 8 on the list, is 2018's A Quiet Place. That was a great movie. The vibe, suspenseful creature feature, why it's essential, a brilliant mix of science fiction and horror, where monsters hunt by sound. Its quiet, tense atmosphere is a thrilling departure from bombastic summer fare. Yeah, that was a great movie. You like that one?
Yeah, the first one was okay. The second one was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read that they're trying to do a third one.
Really?
It's kind of worn out its welcome. Yeah, we get it. There's creatures from outer space, and if we make a sound, they kill us.
Right.
Okay, next.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay. So now next on the list, this is another one I really didn't like per se. Number 9 on the list is 2010's Inception. The vibe, it's a sci-fi fantasy caper, and why it's essential. Christopher Nolan's reality-bending summer blockbuster acts as both a high-stakes heist film and a dream logic fantasy where the mind itself is the battlefield. Now, did you see that one?
I did not.
No, I didn't see it
I
either. So
I've seen like the trailer, and I'm sitting there scratching my head. That's with Leonardo DiCaprio. Is that the one?
I think that's the one. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's the
that's
one.
when I watch a movie, I'm going to put my brain on hold. I don't want to have to deal with dream logic, and is this actually happening, or is this
Hmm.
like in somebody's mind? No, there's an acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. That's
Yeah,
that's what I want my movies to be. I don't want to go in. I don't want to have any deep thought. I don't want to talk about the time paradox. Can we go back
right.
in time and kill our past selves and still? No, just tell me the story. All right,
I got you. I got you. All right. So number 10 on the list, 1987's Predator. The vibe, action heavy sci-fi horror. It's why it's essential. A testosterone-filled slice of summer cinema that plunges an elite military squad into a Central American jungle to fight a technologically advanced alien hunter. That's not one of my summer movies, my summer movie list, but I mean, yeah, it's a good movie. But I would say, honestly, I still say, in my opinion, the very best out of all the Predator movies was that last one that came out, Prey, where, I guess it took place back in the 1700s and the female Indian warrior had to sit there and fight the Predator. Man, that movie was awesome. Oh my gosh. I guess it was like, I kind of like movies where it's more of a challenge for the protagonist in the movie to like survive. Like, granted, even though in the original one, yeah, they had all kinds of, machine guns and rifles and all bombs and, hand grenades. They had all this kind of stuff. But it's a whole different thing when all you got is like bow and arrows and you got to set up booby traps, or spear or whatever to try to fight one of these predators. That's why I kind of did that. To me, I think is like my reason why it's one of my favorite ones. You saw Prey?
I saw that, and I don't remember the title of it, but there is one after that,
The
where
animated one.
No, it wasn't animated. This was live action, and there is like a runt of the litter predator, and his family.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
The one with the woman as the android.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that one.
Okay, it's so funny. That was actually on my to watch list that I was going to try to watch either today or tomorrow. I started watching it, but I didn't get through it. But last year, there was another Predator movie that was called Killer of Killers. It's animated. It came out on Netflix. Now, the thing about it is, I didn't really dig the way that animation looked, but it was in essence, almost like a trilogy. It was like, not a trilogy. Jeff, what are those old movies called back from the 70s when it was oh my God, what's that movie I love? Where basically it's 3 or 4 horror movies in one movie.
It's like an anthology movie.
Thank you, an anthology. So that's basically what it was. It was 85 minutes long and it was an anthology, but it took place in 3 different historical eras. It took place during the Viking era, then it took place, hundreds of years later in the feudal Japan with the ninjas, and then years after that, it took place during World War II, where everybody from the ninjas, the Vikings, and World War II fighter pilots were actually fighting the Yutja. And that was actually the first time that we actually saw in the World War II part where the World War II fighter pilots were fighting. They were going up against the spaceship, the Yutja spaceship. You know what I mean? And what was so cool about it, I'm not going to spoil it. I'm trying to see how I can say this, so I'm not going to spoil it. But I'll just say this here. Watch the entire movie, and at the end of the movie, you're going to see something that kind of points back to the Prey movie. I'll just leave it right there. And it was really dope how they did it too. But that was a really good movie. So between Prey and then Predator Killer of Killers, I thought that was good. Did you like that one that came out? I guess it was back in the either late 80s or mid 80s. Oh, sorry, not 80s, mid 90s, or yeah, I think it was a mid 90s, somewhere in there. Alien versus Predator with Sanaa Lathan.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was a good movie. I mean, it wasn't great, but I mean, it was good anyway. And it's not, but it's not canon though. it's a good, it's a good story and everything, but it's not canon with the Predator films. It was just a one shot that they made, but I thought it was pretty cool anyway. But there we go. That's our summer list of sci-fi, horror, and fantasy show movies. For any of our listeners, why don't you drop us an email at drbloodstone@gmail.com and let us know what you think of that list. And do you happen to have a list of your own of must-watch summer films? If you do, drop us an email and let us know. Okay, so next up, we're going into comic books now, guys. I think I've said it long enough, and you've heard me say it a million times. I'm a comic collector, so this is some information for comic collectors or just anybody who's interested in any of these Transformer movies or G.I. Joe movies. It all works together. There's a guy, his name is Robert Kirkman. Robert Kirkman has been like the creator of quite a few different comic book series. One of the biggest ones that's even now, it's called Void Rivals. It's been out for a while now. I don't even know what issue they're on now, but it's been out for quite a while. And what he's done is he's taken all like a bunch of different properties, especially back from the 80s, and he's put them all together so that they're in the same universe in this comic book series. So, in essence, you have like the Transformers, you have G.I. Joe, and as of recent, Jeff, do you remember? I believe it was in the 80s. I think it was in the 80s. Do you remember this cartoon show called Mask? Where Mask is an acronym. I don't know exactly what it stands for. But there were these police officers that, I mean, they had like, one of them had like, looked like, I think it was like a Firebird or something car. And they didn't transform or anything, but and it took place in the future with their mask. I guess their mask enabled them. They had like different powers or whatever to fight crime. So there was different mask officers, and each one of them had like a different mask that did something different or whatever. Do you remember that? Do you remember that cartoon series?
Yes.
Yeah. So now that is going to be added into this Void Rivals. So the big news that, well, at least for us comic collectors, Robert Kirkman has just recently gotten the rights to old Gold Key comic books. So Gold Key comic books were these comics that came out like in the 50s and the 60s. A lot of the covers on them were like hand painted covers, and some of the more popular characters, one is a guy named Magnus the robot fighter. Another one was Turok the dinosaur hunter, and another one was a guy, Dr. Solar of the Atom. You remember any of those, Jeff?
I read Gold Key comics in my misspent youth, and I liked Magnus Robot Fighter because he fought evil robots in the city of North Am, I think it was. And Dr. Solar Man of the Atom was kind of like the Dr. Manhattan of his day. You know, he gets zapped with radiation and turns his skin green, and he becomes a superhero. So I read both of those. Turok, I've never really cared for what I'm going to term caveman comics. You know, like Hanna-Barbera did a series back in the 60s that was like Dino Boy, where there's a kid who rides a dinosaur and he's got a caveman for a friend. Yeah. Okay. Happens all the time.
Well, a little bit of history on the different characters. So Magnus the Robot Fighter debuted in 1963. It was created by artist and writer Russ Manning. and ran over 40 issues. It's set in the year 4000 AD in a futuristic city of North Am. Magnus is a human trained from youth to battle rogue robots that oppress or threaten humanity. He uses specialized martial arts techniques to smash robots, famously hitting them in the right spot to destroy them. The series nods at Isaac Asimov's Three Law Robotics. Now, the next one is who Jeff was talking about. Solar Man of the Atom, launched in 1962 and was created by writer Paul S. Newman and Bob Fujitani and Matt Murphy, in which nuclear physicist Phil Solar is exposed to a massive radiation accident at a facility called Atom Valley. Instead of dying, he gains the ability to convert matter into energy and vice versa, granting him vast superpowers like energy projection, flight, and near invulnerability. He adopts a superhero identity to fight threats while keeping his civilian life. And then lastly, Turok, son of Stone, originated early but came strongly associated with Gold Key, first appearing in Dell's, that's another comic book company, Four Color Comics in 1954, then got his own title. When Gold Key launched, it continued the series from issues 30 to 125. Turok and his companion Andar are pre-Columbian Native American warriors who become trapped in a hidden lost valley filled with dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures. They fight for survival while seeking a way home using bows and arrows and wits against dinosaurs and hostile humans. Valiant made it more, that's another comic book company, made it more action oriented with advanced tech, renaming the series as Turok Dinosaur Hunter, and became a leading game for the Nintendo 64 from Acclaim Entertainment. Yeah, they've also had Turok on the I played it for the Xbox system as well. The game is pretty cool. So this is why this is such for, I guess, comic collectors and what have you. First and foremost, those Gold Key books, depending on the condition that you get them in, if you can get them in great condition, those things are very expensive. Okay, those older books are very, very expensive, and it's especially hard to find the Gold Key comics in very, very good condition because of the materials, the type of paper, and everything that they used back then. And then, look, back in the day, when kids read comic books or adults read comic books, they weren't thinking, let me keep this book in great condition because one day, maybe if it's, kept in pristine condition, this might help send my grandkid to college. Nobody thought like that. They read the books, they tossed them, they didn't keep great care of them. That's why you have these number one Superman comics selling for millions and millions of dollars because it's so rare to find them, if you can even find them, and even more rare to find them in great shape. So the reason that this is kind of like news for comic book collectors and what have you is because now it's highly possible that Robert Kirkman might either redo these characters with his own company, Skybound. He might end up doing a whole new series with them, or he might implement them into that Void Rivals world that I told you about. So potentially down the road, we could have Magnus, the robot fighter, fighting Transformers. so that's why it's that's kind of like interesting news for us to hear right now for us comic collectors and whatnot. I have some Gold Key comics. Matter of fact, I just bought one the other night, Jeff. Do you remember? This is back in the 60s. They had one, Disney had one for the Scarecrow. Scarecrow was kind of like a crime fighter. He used to ride around on
based off of the what Scarecrow of Romney Marsh, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
I just Patrick McGowan, I think, was in the film version. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I just dropped some cash and bought me a decent version of that last night for my collection. No, a couple nights ago for my collection. But yeah, that's the thing about the Gold Key comics, and that's why this is big news because it's highly possible that Robert Kirkman might be implementing all these different people into his Void Rivals universe. So that's pretty cool. What do you think about that, Jeff? I mean, taking these old characters now that he has access to them and implementing, giving them new life in his comic book series.
I would like to take a look at it. I was a big fan of Dr. Solar. I was a big fan of Magnus Robot Fighter. I know, like you said, that they had a return to life, and what was it you said? Valiant Comics.
Valiant,
And then
yeah.
they went to wherever good superheroes go when they die.
Right.
So I would like to see another incarnation of them, as long as they don't mess with the backstory too much, and make Magnus Robot Fighter an abused child who grew up hating robots.
Right.
What,
Yeah.
whatever they decide to do with them.
Yeah, I agree. Keep it along. I mean, of course they can always make, changes here and there, but just don't, like I said, give them a new really weird backstory or something.
Yeah, stay in your lane, I guess, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I agree. All right. So next up, we have some news, one of two different stories we're going to cover today with James Gunn's DC Universe. A Justice League hero is going to get a major update. So there have been talks of he might have been on Smallville. I started watching Smallville. I maybe watched one or two seasons, but I kind of like dropped off. But the comic book character, and if you've ever watched the old animated series Justice League Unlimited, the character Booster Gold, you know him, right, Jeff?
Yeah, he was a citizen several hundred years in the future, and he wanted to be a superhero and make money. So he broke into a museum and stole a bunch of high-tech stuff, and then went into the past and tried to become like a hero for hire.
Right.
And didn't really work out, and ended up joining the Justice League. And for quite a while, he was treated as kind of a secondary character who was kind of a joke.
Right, exactly. That's exactly it. And I haven't to be honest with you, I haven't really followed him. I did like to kind of see how his character evolved in the Justice League Unlimited, because like you say, in the beginning he was a clown, man. I mean, he was like a real buffoon, but over time, I guess you could say he actually matured as a superhero or whatever, to the point where even, like, say, other superheroes started having more respect for the guy. So they're talking about possibly making a HBO Max series for them. Now, they didn't say whether it was really going to be like a live action. Now, I've heard rumor that it might be live action. I'm thinking if it's going to be on HBO, more than likely, it's probably going to be a live action. The same way as HBO has the Green Lantern series coming out. I think as long as, even if it's just maybe if they don't have a second season, and maybe if they just have one season, I think as long as they still have that evolution and growth of his character. I mean, again, you could have him as the asshat when he starts, but by the end of the series, make him like a genuine hero. Because again, I don't really follow him in the comics, but I was reading up on him, and there was a storyline that involved him, whereas he was going to, since he came back from the past, he was actually going to do something to save somebody in the past that in essence was going to end up saving the future. So he became a big deal in this one DC comic storyline. Again, I didn't follow that. You know what I mean? That's not one of the ones that I collected or really followed up on or whatever, but just reading up on it, he's kind of a big deal that doesn't know he's a big deal. You know what I mean? So I think it's cool. Jeff, a live action Booster Gold. I mean, we have the Green Lanterns coming out. What do you think? Is this going to be a decent series?
I think if it's handled right, yeah, and you know who I would like to see, and I don't ever hear any mention of him anywhere,
Who?
but around the same time, DC came out with a comic, Blue Devil. You remember Blue Devil?
Yeah, I've heard of him before, but yeah, you don't really hear very much about him.
I haven't heard anything in years. You know, he was a stuntman, and he had this Blue Devil suit, and then Satan cursed him to not be able to take the suit off, and he had all these superpowers and could fire energy blasts from a trident or something like that. But
Uh-huh.
I think that he's one that kind of fell into DC graveyard to be resurrected. At some point in time, man, we haven't talked about Blue Devil in 30 years. Maybe maybe it's time.
But you know what's weird? It's kind of strange that they didn't include him. You remember when they had the Dark Justice League? So they had Constantine, they had Zatanna, they had
The Demon.
they had the Demon. Who else? It was a fourth person too.
It was because I saw the animated movie that DC released a few years ago, and it was Zatara.
Yeah, I said Zatanna, the magician girl. I had her in there. But I think it was a four. I just don't remember. Oh, wasn't it Dead Man? Was Dead Man with them?
Could have been. I mean, he'd be a good fit.
These are all different DC characters, folks. I'm sorry for the ones who are not familiar. I know we're really nerding out now, but these are just DC comic characters. All right. But that's kind of weird that they did not include him in that. You know what I mean? Because that's more of like that supernatural kind of every comic book, DC and Marvel has their regular superheroes, then they have like the supernatural stuff. So it's kind of weird that they didn't include him. Now, that could be for a number of reasons too. Because a lot of these different comic companies, when the studios make these movies and animated movies, they might not have the rights to the character. So maybe that could have been a reason. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. And it's so fun. It's so funny you're mentioning him because I have not heard. I think I saw a comic book within the past year. Now it was not an older one. It was a comic book because I think he actually teamed up with the Blue Beetle. I'm almost 99% certain that there was a comic book where he teamed up with the Blue Beetle and they were, fighting crime together or what have you. I didn't collect it. I don't have it, but I do recall seeing it though. So I don't know.
Justice League Dark. I Googled it while we were talking. John
Okay.
Constantine, Zatanna, Swamp Thing, Deadman, Etrigan the Demon, and a character that I don't know, Detective Chimp.
Oh, yeah. I think it's like he's kind of like, if I'm not mistaken, like Gorilla Grodd. He's like a human being, but he's a chimpanzee. I think he can talk and everything else too, but he's a chimp. Well, either or. I think this is cool. Again, I think that especially in the James Gunn universe, I'm very, very trusting with James Gunn. I think that any character that he gets, even like say, I would not consider Booster Gold an A-lister as far as superhero goes, but either or, I still think that when James Gunn gets his hands on him, I think it's going to we're going to have a new character that people are going to start really being, wow, that's a really cool superhero. I think that he'll breathe new life into the character because again, a lot of people probably haven't even heard of him before. But I think that in this James Gunn's DC universe, I think he will have new life, which is really cool. Okay, next up on the deck, we have James Gunn announces for his DC universe the first ever superhero movie trilogy that will be up and coming. And this is now, again, we're talking about the James Gunn universe. And the character that this is going to occur with is Batman. It's going to be a 3-part movie series, Batman series. It's going to be taking place, we're nerding out again, years ago. I believe it was back in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. There was a Batman series that came out that was called Nightfall. The story behind Nightfall was that, I think if I'm not mistaken, don't forgive me if it's not 100%, but most of what I'm telling you is accurate. I believe that the Joker had let all of the absolute worst insane criminals out of Arkham Asylum all in one night. And Batman had to go after each and every one of them to, try to capture them to keep Gotham City safe. But just like any human being, after fight after fight after fight after fight, Batman, he was worn out. He was tired. And eventually, when he came across the one villain, Bane, he lost the fight. He lost the fight with Bane, and Bane actually broke his back. He wasn't paralyzed, but he, of course, he was in bad shape. It took a while for him to heal. So in that time, Batman needed somebody to take his place to protect Gotham City. So this guy he got, this dude named Azrael. Azrael came from I believe it was like a religious order, if I'm not mistaken. But Azrael's thing was, and it was really cool because they had a hybrid costume between Batman's costume and Azrael's costume when Azrael was taking over for him while Batman was healing. But the problem with Azrael was Batman's thing is not that Batman has never killed anybody, but that's not his MO to kill. Batman will kill if it's like between him and someone else and there's no way out. Okay, if he has to, he'll do it. But that's not his thing. Batman, he doesn't use lethal weapons or anything like that. Azrael didn't have a problem killing people. And so when it came time when Batman was finally healed up, he wanted to get his cowl back. So now Azrael was like, "Nah, man, I'm the hero now." And so then it became a battle between Batman and Azrael until he could finally get his cowl back. So it's supposed to be 3 different parts. Okay, the first one is called part 1 is called Nightfall. That's when, like I say, when Batman's back is broken. The second part, let me see, what was it called? I got it here. I'm looking at it. I have it now. So the first is Nightfall, right? When Batman falls or, he's injured. The next one is Night Quest. I guess that's when determining who is going to take his place protecting Gotham City. And then there's Night's End. So those will be like the 3 different movies. Night's End is once again where Batman is battling Azrael to be able to get his cowl back and become the guardian of Gotham City. So 3 animated films coming out, Jeff. You gonna be ready to watch them when they come out?
Yeah, I mean, I still have to get what was it, Batman: The Long Halloween. I still haven't watched that yet.
Oh, it was okay. I saw it. It's all right. It's okay. Now, I mean, no, okay. So let me. I was just going off about how great DC films are. They're all good. Their animated films are good. It had nothing to do with the animation itself. It's just the storyline was just like, okay. Wasn't one of my opinion, one of Batman's greatest storylines or whatever, or one of his greatest adventures. But it was okay. It wasn't a horrible movie. It was pretty good. But there we have it. That's the next thing on the list for James Gunn. We're going to have our first DC James Gunn DCU trilogy with the Batman Nightfall story. All right. So next up from Screen Rant, we have news that John Carpenter's 1980s sci-fi movie Escape from New York is finally completing the trilogy with a brand new comic book series that's going to be coming out. The name of the series is called Escape from New York, Escape from Chicago. So in it, we're going to have in essence, a conclusion for Snake Plissken, his whole story arc, what happened to him after the other two movies that he was in. Because, Jeff, it was Escape from New York, and what was the one that followed?
Escape from L.A.
There you go. So he escaped from New York, he escaped from L.A., so now he's going to escape from Chicago. And if you go to screenrant.com and just type in Escape from New York, they have the covers are really, really cool. The company that's going to be producing the comics series is called Mad Cave. They have some really, really cool covers. I'm like nerding out again. I'm really into like color. The artwork of these covers is really cool. They have multiple covers, and I believe the series is going to be either 3 or 4 issues, but it's going to finally end the story arc for Snake Plissken to finally see, how his story actually ends. So, what do you say, Jeff? And is that something that you might be interested in, going out and getting these issues so you can find out what finally happened to Snake Plissken?
No, I'd rather see a live action movie than a comic book in this case.
Okay.
I like Kurt Russell as the anti-hero, and he has to save these other people in order to save himself.
Uh-huh. But I'll check it out. I love it when we don't actually have sequels for old movies, but they'll make like a comic book series. Like they have quite a few. One of the series, oh my gosh, I paid so much money for it. For The Thing, the series for the comic book series, they had several comic book series for The Thing, where now these shape-shifting aliens were like everywhere. They were all over the planet and people having to fight them. And it is a really good science fiction story, but they had quite a few different series for that. Of course, we never had that at the movie theater. We never had a sequel. Well, okay, let me rephrase it. We had a prequel for The Thing. We never had anything that occurred after The Thing. There's been, like I said, a number of different comic book series. One of them even, what was Kurt Russell's character? McGreedy? Wasn't that his? McGreedy. Yeah, they had one comic book series that actually had him after the movie ended. His adventure wasn't over. He still had to fight aliens after that. So I'm happy. I'm happy for this. I think I like the Escape from New York movies. I thought they were always pretty cool. And once again, giving new life to an 80s character. No, it's not going to be on the big screen, but to read about him and hear about this, I'm assuming his last adventure. Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's pretty cool. What about our listeners? What do you think about this? Have you ever seen, or is first and foremost, are any of you comic book readers? And if you are, have you ever read a comic book series that came from a movie series or a series of movies or a movie that never really had like a sequel or anything like that. Like I know I mentioned quite a while ago they had come out with, now it's like two different series that they have after the Event Horizon movie. One of them is a prequel that takes place in the very beginning when the original cast of the original crew of the Event Horizon went into that alternate dimension and, all hell broke loose. And then they came out with another one after that. I think I collected them, but I've never read them. But what do you think? Do you ever read comic books like that? Or if not a comic book, what about a book? If it was like a regular novel or something like that, that was like a sequel or a prequel to a movie that you've seen, would you read it? Drop us an email at drbloodstone@gmail.com and let us know. All right. So our last story for the night, 25 years later, and this is coming from MovieWeb. I'm going to read their title. 25 years later, an underrated Disney sci-fi classic is getting a new sequel. So the sequel is Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Did you ever see that animated movie?
I think it had Michael J. Fox as the character of Milo. I think.
He did the voice?
I think so.
Yeah, so they did that. They had that one. Then they had the sequel, which was Atlantis Milo's Return. Now that was a direct-to-video release. I think when the first Atlantis movie came out, I believe I might have seen it at the movie theater. Yeah, it came out in 2001. I think I actually did see it at the movie theater. It's okay. It's all right. I'm not. It was okay. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, did you see it when it came out?
I think that I think I rented it. I don't remember going to the movies to see it, but I probably Redboxed it at the time when Redbox was a thing.
Yeah. This is 25 years later. I don't know. I always have this thing in my head that if a movie comes out too many years after, like I think of what's the name of that series? They just came out with another movie with the blue aliens that look like cats. What's that one? Avatar, right. The last one came out like so many years after the last one came out. I'm like, man, who is gonna even want to see this? But sure enough, I mean that movie raked in cash. People love those Avatar movies. I think so that was the third one, wasn't it? Was that the third one?
So.
Yeah, I think I know I saw the first one. I don't even know if I saw the second one or not. I might have. I don't know. Those movies.
There was one with water, and I started to watch that. I got diverted by something else, and I was like, okay, we're done here.
Yeah, exactly. Again, movies are subjective. I know people like them, but that's James Cameron's movies, right?
Yep.
Yeah, not my cup of tea. Like I say, the first one I thought was cool. I thought the first one was pretty cool, but after that, like, okay, not my thing. But anywho, we have a new Atlantis 25 years later movie sequel coming out. Jeff, is this something that you're going to be renting or trying to get a hold of to watch?
Probably not. I mean, I don't watch too many animated movies anymore, and if I do, they're like superhero type stuff, or there's a whole bunch of Spider-Man stuff out that I've never seen in animation. So, I have a tendency to run over to where is it now? I think that there's a bunch of stuff on Prime. So I'll watch a bunch of Spider-Man stuff until my wife goes, "My God, aren't there any other superheroes of Spider-Man?" So I probably will not.
Yeah,
I think I'm kind of I'm kind of outside of the demographics that I think Disney is looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't honestly, I can't think of too many Disney animated films I'm really into, or even like the CGI ones. I don't know.
I like the
Disney,
early stuff,
right.
Little Mermaid and The Lion King. But
Mm,
the live action stuff. Now, I did see the live action Aladdin, which I really liked.
yeah.
I did not see the live action Lion King.
Hmm. I like the old Disney animated films, like the stuff my mom used to take me to when I was a kid. You know, Lady and the Tramp,
Yeah,
the
I saw all those.
yeah,
Jungle
101
Book was
Dalmatians,
the favorite.
yeah, Jungle Book. That's the stuff I like. The newer stuff I've seen, like, and as far as like say Disney Pixar, man, if I have insomnia, I'll go watch a Pixar film because those movies always put me to sleep. I mean, without fail. I Toy Story, I believe I think I fell asleep on that. What's the one with the talking cars?
Cars.
There you go. I think I saw the first one. I'm like, okay. I'm not like you say, the modern Disney animation and computer animation stuff is, I don't know, man. It's not my thing. But hey, you know, fine. 25 years later, if they're gonna come out with another one, I'm sure the kids that grew up watching the other two, if you liked it, now they're gonna have their kids or grandkids watching it. So be it. I mean, good for Disney. I mean, take the old stuff and add new life to it. It's cool. That's fine.
If we can
All
squeeze
right.
another shekel out of it, then we're going to do it.
There you go. See. All right. So now the question of the week is, okay, Jeff, you have been given an offer that you cannot refuse. You have to spend one night in one of the following horror locations. If you survive, you'll be given $1 million. So now your choices are: one, Crystal Lake; two, on board the Nostromo; three, the cabin from the Evil Dead; four, Haddonfield, Illinois on Halloween night. If we have any super young listeners, let me explain. That's Michael Myers, okay? From the Halloween series, that's what we're talking about there. You're going to be on board the Orca. For the other ones who don't know, that's from the original Jaws movie. That was the name of the boat they went hunting for the shark on. Number six, the Poltergeist House. Or seven, the Antarctic Research Station from The Thing. So you have to spend the night at one of these one of these locations. If you survive, you're going to get $1 million. Where are you spending the night, Jeff? And tell me why.
I'm going to Illinois. Michael Myers was looking to kill Laurie Strode because that was, and this was brought out in later films, of course, that Laurie was his, younger sister.
Right.
So, since I don't have any kids in the house, I don't have any babysitters, and I don't know Michael Myers, and there's no reason for him to come looking for me because, I'm on the other side of town. Uh, so I'm going to listen to the TV where it says, lock your door, stay inside, don't answer the door, don't give out any candy, don't put on the silver shamrock mask. So yeah, I'm going to stay in Illinois.
Okay. All right. This one was kind of difficult, at least for me. First and foremost, I know I'm not going to Crystal Lake. That was the first one off the list. Nostromo, nah, that's off the list. Cabin in the Woods, nah. It might be safer for me to go to Haddonfield because Michael Myers didn't kill any black people, did he?
No, because I don't think there were any in the movie.
see, see. So I think I could possibly be safe there, but no,
Well,
there was at one time. Don't you remember? It was horrible, but don't you remember LL Cool J was in Halloween H2O?
oh yeah. He was like a security guard, I
Right,
think.
he survived, but nah, I'm not going to take my chances.
But you
I
but you
think,
didn't specify other movies in the film. You just like it's just the first one because
yeah,
I don't know if H2O was still set in Haddonfield.
that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
You're right. I don't even remember. Okay. All right. So my choice, I think I would go to the Antarctic Research Station. I mean, it's kind of scary, but at the same time, I kind of have a paranoid personality. So as long as I could, you know, as long as I could barricade myself in some room or something with a flamethrower, and it's only for 24 hours or overnight, I think I could be okay. I think I actually could possibly survive. I think I would also be like, I might have to use that $1 million for legal stuff because I would probably be burning up like innocent people. You know what I mean? Like if anybody tried to come into the room, they might be innocent. I still think I would probably like maybe just burn them up. So I might have like murder or attempted murder charges on me or what have you. If there was anybody,
you're hardcore, Ron.
yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, man. When it comes to stuff like that, dude, I'm a berserker. You know what I mean? Like I say, if you just flinch the wrong way, man, I'm sorry, you're gonna get burned up. You know what I mean? You sneeze the wrong way, you're gonna get burned up. So yeah, I think that's where I would end up going. Antarctic Research Station and see if I could survive through the night. Oh, and well, one added perk, I really do love cold weather. So worst come to worst, at least I could get some cold weather. I dig cold weather. So that's me. That's where I would go. So our listeners, where would you go if you had to pick one of these places? And then tell me this. Do you think you would survive? If you had to pick one, you're gonna pick one of these seven. Do you think you would survive overnight in one of these places? Once again, drop us an email at drbloodstone@gmail.com. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. I know it's been a while, but I'm so happy to be back again. And we want to thank all of our listeners for listening to the show and tell your friends about it. We're building up our clientele, our listeners, and really helps when you tell other people, hey, there's this really good podcast I listen to, and share that information with other people. Also, you can also check out our episodes. They're all on YouTube. I don't know how many people listen to YouTube for podcasts, but you can find all of our episodes on there. And if you do like an episode, do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up that you liked it and share it with other people. And you can subscribe to us as well. If you subscribe, anytime we come out with a brand new episode, you'll be the first one to know. Just like now, it's been almost 5 weeks, I think, since our last episode. So you get the news that, hey, we got a brand new episode coming out. So I want to thank my co-host, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Great show. Good to hear from you again.
Same to you. I wondered where the heck we've been. And the wife had said, well, aren't you still doing the podcast? I said, well, I don't know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, my wife said the same thing, man. It was just like last week, are you still doing a podcast? Like, yeah, we're doing a podcast, of course. Yeah, it was just a couple glitches. A couple things went crazy. Things happen. But hey, we're back. We're back in the saddle again. Good to be back. And we look forward to future episodes with you all. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Have a good one.